I got a squeaky chair. I gotta put some oil on it.
All right, we are live for another episode of Real Estate Junkies Podcast. As always, these episodes are sponsored by Boss Agents Academy, where we help agents and brokers reach more people, change more lives, and create freedom. Today, we have with us Tina Caul, a real estate industry powerhouse. You want to join us for this episode where Tina, a leading figure at eXp Realty, shares the secrets to building a rock solid foundation in your real estate business. With years of firsthand experience and a mission to simplify the path for agents, Tina leads by example. Her achievements speak volume. A top three team out of 90,000 agents at eXp, ranking among the top attractors nationwide, and a staggering 800 plus homes sold in 2023 alone. Don't miss the opportunity to learn more from a luxury market expert who has shared the stage with legends like Tony Robbins and Ryan Serhant. Dive deep into the skills that made Tina a standout in the industry, from her days of personal selling to leading a monumental team. Tina, it is a pleasure to finally have you on the podcast. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. So let's get right into it, Tina. So with your impressive background, I always wanted to get you on the podcast, first of all. But what initially drew you to real estate, and how has this passion evolved into building freedom for yourself and others?
So I always say real estate found me because my husband and I met at 16. We bought our first condo at 19. My mom found it. It was a for sale by owner, and it made us broke. Like, we really put all our money into it, made us broke. But we realized that, oh, wow, we could flip houses. We could buy real estate. So I ended up meeting a real estate agent, and she convinced me to get my license. I was in college. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was sort of like floundering, just with that path. And so I thought, what the heck, let's try this. And when I tried it, what I found is I love to research and I love to learn. So I could research properties. I could use my strategic mind to solve their problems. And it was a perfect fit. And from 23 to 45, I've been in the real estate industry.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you, I know your story kind of, right? You were in Michigan before, and you guys went to the whole thing. What's the story behind that?
So I grew up in Michigan, and right outside of Detroit. And Kevin and I ended up living in Grosse Pointe for many, many years, and we hated the snow. We were like, why do we live here? Because I would travel to conferences, and they were in San Diego and California, and I was like, wow, people don't need to live in areas where the wind hurts their face and it's cloudy all the time. I'm like, there is another path. And so we set out to move, and we decided 12 hours away by car. Raleigh, North Carolina was the place for us. It's sunny most of the year. I don't need a winter coat. I mean, I don't even own boots anymore. And it's a glorious place to raise a family. So we took our son at 4 years old and traveled down here, relocated, rebuilt our business. And that first 4 years, I was in build mode. I think we sold 35 homes the first year we were here. Couldn't even get out of my yard without GPS on. So I didn't even know where I was. It was 55 deals, 88 deals, I think 100 plus deals by the fourth year. And in 2014, I decided, okay, I need more leverage. I just can't keep going at this pace and have a healthy life, being a mom and a wife. And so we started to build out the team a little bit. And I hired a couple buyer agents, partners that are still with me today, 10 years later.
Wow.
And it's been a fun ride ever since. So I was at Remax, I went to Keller Williams, and then we have been with eXp for 5 years, which has been a monumental, amazing journey for us so far.
It's 2 years anniversary today for me and eXp. So we'll have that conversation too. But so when you moved to North Carolina, it was how many years into real estate? How many years were you licensed in Michigan?
I was licensed, let me see, 7 years in Michigan. So,
Wow.
yeah.
So how was that like market crash was like for you? Like what did you do?
So we left Michigan so the market in Michigan started to crash in 2006. So I was doing short sales. I was doing $60,000 short sales, homes that were worth, 180, 200,000. I was selling them for 60. So when I got to North Carolina in 2009, September of 2009, nobody had done a short sale. They hadn't even known about it. So I was like the queen of short sales. My first listing here was a short sale. So the crash for me was actually advantageous. I came here and I was calling expireds and FSBOs, and I had learned how to use scripts, how to use a listing presentation, how to get sellers to price homes correctly. So it was a windfall for me, really. I loved that market because as agents were leaving and exiting because they didn't know how to handle the adjustments, they didn't work on their craft to master how to navigate. I was like, this is like easy money. So it was actually really, really good for me. We have never since 2010 until now, our business has never gone backwards from a volume and unit perspective. But so it was good.
That's amazing. And of course, it tells me a story of there's two ways of looking at things when you are running into challenges. One way is, oh, it's so challenging and I'm in a new market and I don't know what to do. And the other way is like, oh wow, people are not seeing opportunities and challenges and taking advantage of it. Now you emphasize the top 20 essential skills for real estate success. Can you share, I would say, top 3 skills you believe every agent should master to achieve financial freedom specifically?
Yeah, I think the big ones are the first and most important one is time management, because most agents get into this business and they don't treat it like a job. They just like get up at 9 o'clock. They're in the office maybe by 10, 11. Every day looks different. They're at TJ Maxx one day, Home Goods the other day, doing groceries the other day. So if they had to treat it like a job, punch in and punch out, 9 to 5, working an 8-hour workday, there would be no broke agents. But most of the industry is broke. 99% don't make a really good living, and it's a part-time hobbyist mentality. Therefore, they get the hobbyist results. So I think the first one is treat it like a job. The second one is your job, after you treat it like a job, is to talk to people. You have to have conversations every single day. I don't care if you cold call, if you buy leads. At some point, if you buy leads, you're going to have to pick up this thing and call the lead. So we're not talking about how do you manage the lead flow in, whether it's outbound or inbound. You still have to become really good on the phones when you decide that you're going to, grow your business. So it's time management. It's conversations, and then it's the structure of your business. What are the levers that you're putting in place? Leverage is key, because when you also look at the real estate industry, most agents are still solo agents. Still are the number one income earner of their job. And if something happened to them and they got sick, they don't have a job. Their job goes with them. So I think it's a leverage piece is the other one.
So in your journey, how have you managed, we watch you on social media, you seem like always working, right? How have you managed to balance personal life and high level productivity when it comes to real estate? What's your secret to maintaining this balance and building freedom in your life, right? Like one thing to be free, and there's another thing to actually have, freedom.
Yeah, I think that, the humans are meant to work. They're meant to work. They're hunter-gatherers. They're meant to work. They're meant to have purpose. So, for me, I had a job for many years that I enjoyed. It was called real estate. I sold houses. I found houses for buyers. That was my job, and I really enjoyed it. But it was absolutely not free, because I treated it like a 9 to 5, actually a 9 to 8.
Yeah.
Once I realized there was leverage opportunities and I could treat it like a business and I could help other people grow and other agents grow. Now my day looks different, but I'm still working, but I don't have to work. I get to work. I'm at a different mentality. I had to work before because I had to earn income. I had to make money. I was in a job. Yeah, I had to work. Today, I get to help others grow. And I could turn it off and just say, I'm going to go live off the, the life that we built. But that's not rewarding to me. It's boring. Like I work. I just like to have the freedom to do what I want, because now I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur that can focus on different things that bring me joy. So yes, I am absolutely free right now, but I still love to work.
Sounds like to me that it's not about making money, it's about creating wealth. And then it's not about, being busy, it's about finding your passion, right?
It is, yes.
To find your freedom. Yeah.
It is. The freedom is in doing your passion. And if my passion was gardening, I have the freedom right now to garden all day. But my passion is not gardening. So my passion is actually inspiring people, helping them, coaching them. Like that's fun, so I enjoy doing it. Yeah.
Now focusing on business itself, right? Like focusing on when it comes to building a real estate business, we know listings win end of the day, especially in today's market, right? That can transform anyone's business if they focus on listings. What strategies do you recommend for agents who are looking to shift, especially right now? It's time to shift, it's time to pivot, who are looking to shift their business model to more listing focused business?
So, when you're focusing on listing focused business, you have to go after listings. The only way you can go after listings is by picking up the phone and calling for sale by owners. I know you have a different strategy on that, and calling expired listings, because I can outdo any agent in any market. If you give me a phone and a list of expireds, I can get a listing in one day. It's very hard to just get a listing with having to buy leads,
prospecting and
bringing the leads in and hoping that somebody will reach out and say, come list me. Like those are lucky because you did the right levers of marketing. But I could go out today and find an expired or for sale by owner and list that property. I could do it today. And so that was my idea of like, okay, I can become a top listing agent because I'm literally chasing after the people raising their hand. They already raised their hand. They put a sign.
They're already telling you that they want to sell. Yeah.
They're telling you. There's a sign in their yard still half the time. They're just saying, I don't want to pay a commission because I want to sell it by owner. Or I failed to sell. Now I'm mad. I'm uneasy. I'm unsure. I don't know what to do. Please help me. Those are the two things that, I think any agent can really build a big business because they're finding those people that are raising their hand.
And I got into real estate 2012, so it was a different market, and I never cold called for sub owners or expires, and obviously I wish I did. But over the last 3 years, there are different strategies where you can still go after FSBOs and expires. Right now, over the last 2 months specifically, we have came up with automations and AI that can just pull data off for sell by owners and expires, remarket to them with retargeting ads and text and email campaigns, stuff that before it wasn't possible. But yes, I think if someone's looking to build a listing focused business, they need to go after people who are already telling you that we want to sell our house, rather than chasing your sphere of influence, trying to find a seller and then calling FSBOs and expires. And another thing I see is direct mail. Do you guys do any direct mail?
We don't, again, I built a business that earned me $8 million, in a short amount of time by calling expires. And you know what my CRM was, Syed? This is my CRM. And so January through February, if I talk to you right now and it's March, I'm going to put your info on here and I'm going to go, okay, he wants to sell in June. I'm going to put this right here in May.
Wow.
When May comes around, I'm going to pull out my cards and I'm going to call you. And this right now is for the majority of agents that have no idea how to use CRM or drip campaigns or lead flow, because they don't. It's hard for them. Technology is not part of their wiring. And so if technology is not part of your wiring and communication is, then you can still earn $1 million a year with the $1 million box and just, and just do it very simply. Simple solves the complex in my work. Yeah. I'm not smart enough to have all the different levers, but I am smart enough to know what works, and it's calling people and knowing what to say.
Yeah. And this what you just said is the perfect proof of work works, right? Like what you put work into works. You don't need a fancy CRM, even though we pitch fancy CRM these days, but you don't need a fancy CRM. You can literally use a Google Sheet, a Rolodex, right? But I
Or-
want to know what's in that box. Is it listings or agents now?
No, this is well, no, it was listings, right? I mean, it was listings, but now, yeah, now it's partners. Now I'm a
Yes,
community
let's
builder.
go. Let's go. You're still bringing your old school habits.
Right. That's right. And with that, it's like I've brought over 200 and 80 people to the company, and it's
Amazing.
because it's not about the CRM, it's about building relationships.
Yes.
It's about, right? It's about
It's
really
about following through with these conversations and following through with the relationships.
right. And inviting people into a community. And that's why I always laugh and say, we're not recruiters. I'm a community builder. Like that's what I build. So call me whatever you want. But I know what I'm building. Yeah.
They can outrun a downline, right? Is that what it is on that video that just came out?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
But anyway, you can outrun a relationship. This is the name of the business in real estate, right? So you lead a top 3 team in the company among 90,000 agents, right? Selling over 800 houses, right? What are some of the core principles or strategies or systems that you attribute this remarkable success right now in your business?
Well, I think, I'll unpack it because we're one of the top 5 teams now. So we've got some really amazing competitors in the space, not competitors, partners, peers, whatever. So I'm excited. To me, like I've made it in because I am competitive. So it's like when you can be the top 3, top 5 out of 90,000 agents, like we don't need to be number 1. We're good. But the thing is,
it'd be nice though. It'd be nice though. I know you still go to sleep thinking like, oh, it'd be nice.
Not
top
really.
1.
You know what's funny? I'm not really. To me, like it's like you achieved it, and you go, okay, like I want, like someone else is going to always be better. So I don't always chase the accolade. I chase the journey, and it's like as long as our team can be better every year, as long as the team excels,
it's producing more and they're building more wealth.
Exactly. As long as. So when people say, well, what are your goals this year? I go, well, I add up all of the goals of my agents. And if we can hit the goal of the agent and they hit their goals, we hit our goals. Because I don't have a goal anymore to sell 1,000 homes, 2,000 homes. Like it doesn't excite me. But if they hit their goals, then we win. So that's where I go granular with it. But for me, okay, go back to the question. ADD. What was the question?
What are some of the principles or systems? Yeah.
Okay. So I want to unpack it because I think people look at our team and they're like, oh my God, they're so amazing. They must have the secret thing. It's not secret. Before we had cold calling, I had 8 agents on my team and myself. We sold 350 homes. We didn't have a lot of lead sources. We were cold callers. Then we got in bed with Zillow, right? We bought some Zillow leads, and Zillow leads were really great. I mean, they were great ROI. So I'm not one that's like, don't buy leads. Why? We get a great return. Like if you get a great return, buy the freaking leads, like I don't get the badge of honor. Like I never buy a lead. Good for you. Why not? Like
you're leaving money on the table. You're not buying leads. Like, what are you doing?
So I'm not against buying leads, but I am against like buying leads and then wasting them, like that would be stupid. So we buy the leads and then we flip to a Zillow Flex team. So for those that don't know, Zillow charges us 40% on the back end for these leads, which is not fun, but it's still profitable.
Yeah, and it adds up, right? To offset, like, some years, not all months are same, but when you have consistent stream of leads coming in. Yeah,
exactly. So for me, I say 40% is the customer acquisition cost. That's the cost. But then I want to take that customer and build 3 or 4 more deals from that customer. Just like if you do a BPO, you work with Cardis relocation, it's 38 to 42% right now. You work with any lead source is going to be a 30 to 40% bump because that's just the nature of the industry. So when that happened, we were getting 300, 400, 500 leads a month from Zillow. Well, we need humans, right? We need humans to service those leads. Naturally, the team got big. So there is no secret. It's Zillow. If Zillow took the leads away tomorrow, the team they would still be big and we would still have lots of different sources, but it wouldn't be as big. So again, I don't want people thinking, oh my God, there's some secret. No, you just have to position yourself.
Diversify yourself.
Yeah. And if you want to be part of, a company that charges you and you want more lead flow to manage, then you can also build to 30, 40, 50 agents and build a company that's a little bit bigger. So I think there's a mirage around that. Yeah. And I always like to be very sincere about why we're as big as we are.
Yeah. Now I do have to ask, right? We always had this conversation, right? And it is concerning to me, right? With Zillow, everything that Zillow doing right now, they're looking into buying a cloud-based brokerage. There are probably 2 years from now, Zillow is going to be one of the cloud-based brokerages that are going to only provide leads to their agents, right?
Yep.
What is your alternative? How are you diversifying yourself where you're like, okay, I don't want to be over leveraged by Zillow.
Yeah.
And I want to, I know this is kind of like publicly asking you, putting you on the spot, but what are your thought process behind that?
I think that because of the nature of the business that we're in, like nobody wants to think about having to cut your sales force, right? So there is no expense on a real estate team that isn't able to be modified overnight. If you think about it, like let's just say Zillow said, all your leads are gone. Actually, no, the FCC is actually trying to block third-party lead distribution. So they're trying to say right now, which is going through, Zillow can't give you a lead. A third-party vendor cannot sell a lead to Syed. You can't buy leads anymore. That's what they're trying to shut down. So this is not a Zillow problem. I'm already thinking in the future, if Zillow took everything away, which it could happen, you go from having $1 million of salaries, right, for your staff, down to, you could have down to $200,000 overnight. You're firing everyone, which is a terrible thought. So we're not doing that, but everything is manageable. So it's not as big of a risk as people think. However, we are putting pieces in place to ensure that we don't have to do that because we like our staff, we like our people. And so we're going after bigger accounts right now. So like for EXP, we're working with Bundle Select. We are going after, like we have hospitals, we have SaaS, big accounts that we're going to go and be the benefit
preferred vendor for them.
Exactly. So we've got 10 of those accounts right now where we're working with all of those customers and can give referrals back to those customers. So we're working there. We're going big into neighborhoods and creating neighborhood Facebook groups so we can galvanize those people and really work deep into those relationships. We upped our events. So we have 4 events per year where we have over 400 to 500 of our customers show up. So we're in their face, really promoting them. So we've seen a rise in our referrals. So all of those leads that we paid for, now we're going back in and building the relationship so we can continue doing it. I've got 2 friends, 2 team leaders that got rid of Zillow, and literally they're having the best months of their life, and none of their agents left, because the reality is if you build a good culture, our culture is not just, oh, you have leads. That's why I teach my agents to fish. They can pick up the phone and call an expired. They don't have to do Zillow leads. In fact, of our 55 agents, only 20 are on Zillow leads.
Wow.
So it's not like we're dying for Zillow leads. We're partnering with them because they have the most eyeballs. They have 250 million users a month right now. Why wouldn't I go pull some of those users into my business? And then my job is to nurture them, because if Zillow goes to a cloud-based company, which by the way already exists, it's called Redfin. It's already here. So I'm not scared of it because it's here. It's a bunch of agents working for a salary and they get a discount commission. Zillow's not being new and innovative in that regard. They're just building another company that already exists. And I don't think there are a lot of agents that would work for Zillow, because there's not a lot of agents that would work for Redfin, except for agents that don't have that skill level, or they just need that permanent paycheck, if that makes sense.
See, like what I hear you say is go do everything Zillow cannot do, right? You guys are doing everything, like community-based marketing, go into like building refer relationship with vendors and doing all of that. This is stuff that Zillow cannot do, right?
They can never have the relationship. That's why I always said, when people were worried, Open Door and Redfin and Purple Bricks and all the things that, oh my God, the client's going to open the door by themselves. Okay, they did. They can't navigate a 30-page contract. They can't navigate the emotions that need. It's not emotional to be a travel agent and say, oh, I'm going to go to Europe. Where should I go? There's no emotion there. There's no risk of, oops, I went and saw the Vatican instead of going to see this. Like there's not risk involved. But when you put $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 on the line, you need a guide. So I'm never worried about the agent's job becoming obsolete because I know the value that I give an agent, and I deserve 3% of the commission to guide an agent through a buyer side transaction versus a brand new agent that can't guide them through. I believe that agents and buyers will pay us to guide them through if the whole lawsuit thing takes place and we can't charge. We're still buyers right now in our market. We're paying 2.4, 2.5% is a common, it's common. And so we're actually, our buyers that work with our team pay us 3%.
Nice.
We're worth it. We're worth it. Right? I mean,
we do 3.5 in Michigan. And my team, I have done nothing less than 3.5 for 9 years straight.
There you go.
Charging our buyers.
There you go. Now I need to up mine.
Yeah, we charge our buyers minimum $1,500 to $4,000 on top of 3% we get in Michigan.
Exactly, because you're worth it. If they find the value and you can set that value, you're only worth what you believe that you are worth.
Yes. And I think in this conversation with Zillow or this lawsuit, and it all actually connects together. If you follow the money, you will see BlackRock, Vanguard, and all these private equity funds are behind the lawsuit to disrupt the sales industry. So Zillow, which BlackRock and Vanguard are over 5% owner of Zillow, you will like all that. If you follow the money, you will see they want to monopolize real estate holdings. Forget about sales. Sales is just in the middle. Like we're just in their way, right? They want to take over 60% of real estate holdings, which is residential real estate. So it's a much deeper conversation. But end of the day, if agents who actually bring value to the table will never be obsolete because they actually bring value to the table and the market pays for value. Market doesn't pay for, you hold a license, I'm going to hire you. That's going to go away for sure. Okay.
Correct.
If you think you're going to hold a license and you're going to be successful in real estate, you could say goodbye to that. Now, look, you obviously, for you to be able to build the community that you have built, you yourself would have to go through some mentorship and have had to follow some guidance or roadmap or proven models to get to where you have gotten yourself, right?
Right.
How has mentorship played a role in your real estate success? And can we discuss how mentorship is shaping your community and how currently mentorship, mentoring others in your community is helping, you build the community you're building in EXP?
I think, when I first discovered my first mentor, Saeed, I was losing everything. It was 2006. I was making $150,000 a year in Michigan, which I thought I was rich because I came from a poor family. I was like, 150 grand, I'm loaded. And then all of a sudden, because of the market, it went down to 40,000. I was like, this is not fun anymore. Like, this is awful. And so I went to an event in, you know who Jeff Glover is. He's on all the boards, right? So I went to an event in Ypsilanti, I think it was. I can't remember, Romulus maybe. And it was a Mike Ferry event. And so I saw Jeff in front of the room. I saw Michelle Sayward in front of the room. And here I'm starving. And they're like standing up going, I sold, 80 homes, 60 homes, 50 homes. I'm like, how are these?
What the heck are you guys eating at night?
What are you doing? And the big difference was they were being coached. And the funny thing is, that day, they were the ones in the front of the room inspiring. But what happened to me was serendipitous. There was one agent in my market in Grosse Pointe, and she ran the market. I mean, got every expired. I would walk in and do a listing presentation, walk out, and she would be coming right behind me and she'd get the listing. I mean, she was winning. Like, she was awesome. Her name is Beline Obaid. She's still in business today. She's 80 something. And she's awesome. We would always talk about her at our meetings. Like, our meetings were around like, how did Beline get that one? How did Beline get this one? So guess what happened? I got up to go to the bathroom at the conference. Who's coming out of the bathroom?
Oh.
She saw me and I saw her and our eyes locked. And I was like, I know the answer. Like, in that moment where you're like, aha, it just clicks. And I go, Beline, what are you doing here? And she's like, well, this is my coaching company. I was like, oh, you get coached by these people? And she's like, yes, I've been coached for many, many years. I said, do you think I should do it? And she said to me, when the student is ready, the teacher will come. And then she walked away. And I was like, It was like this moment. It was really weird. And I was like, I'm doing it. I had no money. My husband was going to kill me, but I pulled out my credit card and I said, I need mentorship. And it was $1,000 a month. Think about it. 18 years ago.
That's a lot of money. It's more like 5,000 today.
I'm making 40,000. I'm about to spend 12 of it on coaching. My husband thought I joined a cult. And so, so anyway, I pulled out my credit card and I got my first coach. And my first coach would, every 30 minutes, every week, he wanted me to get on the phones. I was so afraid. And I lied to him for 2 months that I said, yeah, I'm making my calls. They're just not connecting. And then finally, after 2 months, he goes, well, you and I role play and you're really good at it. Something's missing. Like, why are you? Because we didn't have recording at that time. Like he couldn't listen. So I finally confessed that I was lying. And he said, promise me one thing. Tomorrow, just call a for sale by owner, read the first line and just stop and listen. And I said, I can do that. So I did. I called the next day and I said, hi, I'm doing a survey of all the for sale by owners in the area. I followed the Mike Ferry script. And the guy goes, oh, okay. And he answered the question. And I went and I hung up on him and I went, this shit works. And from there, it was game over. I went from making 40,000 to 150,000. And then we decided to move to North Carolina. That second year that I was in Mike Ferry, I was in a new town and I made $200,000 my first year in real estate here in a new market in 2010 because I knew what to say. I could pick up the phone and make it happen. That's why I tell all my new agents, you can do all the shiny objects, social media. You can do it all. I believe in all of it. Yeah. But for the basis, the first foundational aspect of your business, you have to learn what to say and you have to go after business fast because you're going to be broke waiting for leads. Sorry, you're just going to be broke.
Yeah. It's going to be hard regardless. You'd rather go through the hardship while having your bills paid, right?
Exactly. So the biggest.
What was it? I want to get into that. Like, what was it? Those 2 months of like you facing, your coach and lying to your coach. What do you think it was? And I know you know the answer, but what was it?
It was fear of being embarrassed. It was fear of looking stupid. It was fear of rejection. Nobody likes to be rejection. I like to be liked. I want people to like me. Like I'm pretty likable. So I don't want to go and have someone go, why are you calling me? Get out of my face. Like, ew, you feel yucky. And you know what I mean? Like, and I hate calls that people call me and they try to sell me something. So I think it was that. I don't want to be seen as a salesperson. I don't want to be seen as bothering people and like a telemarketer. That was not what I envisioned when I was thinking of being a real estate agent. But the grimy truth is you better frickin' be a telemarketer because the people that get rejected the most make the millions. Yeah. I am a rejection queen. You can't out rejection me anymore. So I'm going to win because you can't mess with my mental mind anymore.
Yeah. And I think it's honestly like behind all of this, the fear of rejection and, limiting beliefs and all that stuff is that your commitment to your success, right? Like when you truly believe that you're worthy of the success that you want, all the ugly becomes beautiful, right? Like all the rejections and all the dirty stuff that we have to go through in this business just becomes part of the process because I'm committed to that end goal, right? I believe that I am worthy of that success. I believe that I'm worthy of that person hiring me. Like, so what they reject me? Like, I am worthy, right? So you made a post about that and that made me like, oh, wow. Like, and this is the stuff that I talk about every morning in my morning calls. Now, given your experience and success, what would you say common pitfalls do you see real estate agents falling into, and what advice would you offer to help them build a more freedom-focused business?
Well, the funny thing is they want freedom, but they need to embrace not having freedom. I mean, that's it. They want freedom, but the freedom makes them broke. Freedom makes you broke. So if I had a gun to their head and said, I want you in this office every morning at 8 a.m., I want you role playing and understanding how to ejection handle. I want you on the phones by 8:30, 9 o'clock until 11 to 12, check your email, 12 to 1:30, have a mindset break, go get some lunch. And 1:30 to 5 o'clock, put in a solid day's work. And if you don't have appointments, go visit 3 for sale by owners, go visit some new construction neighborhoods, go make a connection with somebody on Instagram or Facebook, go give somebody a compliment. Your job is to make those connections. In fact, I wrote it down here. This is what everybody should be looking at doing every day. Where is this little sheet of paper I have? Oh man, it's not this one. I think it's downstairs, but it was like these 5 things. And it was literally to make your connection. So 5 for 5 is the method that we use. 5 conversations a day, 5 days a week. You're going to make 1,300 conversations a year. If you close 10%, that's 130 transactions, which you're not going to close 10% of those conversations. Let's say you close 3%, which is the norm, right, for leads. Mm-hmm. You're going to sell 30 to 40 homes. 5 contacts a day, 5 conversations. 5 for 5, 5 days a week, 5 conversations. But the problem is, it sounds so easy, but nobody does it. They don't do it. They don't do it consistently. Yep. And that's the key, is that the consistency of taking the baby bites every day. So if I said to an agent, what do I need to do? Talk to 5 people. Don't come back and talk to me until you talk to 5 people. And who did you talk to? Write down their name. This one hung up on me. This one hung up on me. This one said, go take a hike. This one was an old lady and wanted to talk for 15 minutes, but she didn't really care. And then this one, they gave me a potential appointment 6 months ago. This is a lead. Okay, cool. Now you did your work. Go do something else. I don't care. Go brush your hair for the rest of the day. Tomorrow, do it again. Do it again. So it's building the habit of having those conversations. Then from 5, you go to 8. Then from 8, you go to 10. For me, the magic number, 15. 15 a day. If I talk to 15 a day, I could get an appointment. That was my average. Yeah.
And I promise you, it doesn't take that many. I promise you, you do this consistently. It doesn't take that many.
But I mean, it was 15 because I was calling for sale by owners and expired.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Or circle dialing. When you're doing circle dialing, there's not as high of a turnover for that. So the average for me was 15 a day.
Yeah. And in today, like, look, 20 years ago, you didn't have access to stuff that we agents today have access to. There are Facebook groups full of people, right? Like local groups.
So many. I had RedX and I had Mojo, so I had those things because I didn't start prospecting till 2010. That was like actually 2008 was like the start, but it was a slower start. 2010 was when I came here with $100,000 net worth. Like, that's it. And we blew through it down to $5,000. And Kevin and I were like, God, we're either going to have to go back to Michigan or work at Walmart. Like, there's the other. And I'm like, I'm not doing either. So I have to pay out phones again.
And it's amazing. This is the same, like, actually, this is like almost identical kind of conversation that I have in my morning calls in my coaching program. And it's funny that you talked about that 5 conversation. This morning I was talking to an agent. I was like, I haven't been doing good in my time management. And I'm like, hey, look, there's 3 things that matters. One is like, hey, are you doing your daily power ups? The second is, are you, accounting for your time? And third is, are you living by your numbers, right? Like, are you looking at your conversation numbers, consultation numbers, and your client acquisition numbers every single week? And is that what you're living by? And he was like, nope. And I was like, there you go. That's your answer, right?
Nope. Yeah.
You have been part of EXP for a significant period of time. And I mean, like I mentioned, today is my 2-year anniversary. In this 2 years, I have seen people who've been part of the company for, I don't know, longer than even you have left the company, right? So what is motivating you to continue to be part of this company, and how has EXP supported your vision of building freedom through real estate?
This is what people have to understand. Just like people abandon CRMs every year, they abandon companies. The average agent moves brokerages every 3 years. Why? Because they're still looking for a shiny object. And what happens right now, Syed, is EXP is the pioneer. I am never getting off this ship because we built this thing. And so what happens is you see other companies sprouting out. Epic, Real, LPT, Canzel, Home Snap. I mean, there's like 10 of them now. Yeah. The reality is, moving forward into the future, there will never be companies that don't have a revenue share system. And they don't have some way of rewarding the agents through, hopefully, stock. Yeah. So we're never going to see another big traditional Keller Williams be built. Like, it's not happening.
It's gone. Yep. That model. Yeah.
It's gone. So the reality is, you've got an amazing group of 90,000 agents. And we're bigger, so we get the accounts that we need. Like right now, Revenos gave out hundreds of millions of dollars to agents because we're getting referral deals. We have a luxury division now we're in 22 countries. We give our sellers the exposure that we need. We are a production focused company first. We were first to the revenue share model and the stock model. We're first to being a production focused company. Like when you see what our education department is coming up with, because we have recruited an amazing guy I got to see behind the scenes. It's going to blow your mind. So we're going into the agents being production focused, which we always have. We sell the most homes. And I think what happens is agents start to see other companies and influencers, and they're like, oh my God, it looks so fun over there. I'm going to just jump ship because they're giving me free car washes and free this and free that. But it's not proven. You show me a company that's sustainable, proven, and profitable, and maybe I'll look. But none of them, not one of them, is sustainable, proven, and profitable yet. And if you think of like Real, for instance, I'll just bring it up.
Yeah, they're not.
Since 2014, they're only at 12,000 agents. We've been around since 2009. We have 90,000. Like, where is that gap? There's an innovation gap. And so I think that sometimes we see the other influencers and we're like, oh, I'm not doing good here. I'm not a good recruiter or whatever. I'm going to go over there. We don't really want you to be a recruiter. We want you to be a community builder. We want you to bring value. And only when you bring value and you bring value into people's businesses and they do better selling real estate, we will outsell all the other companies. We have the top producers here. And if you can't make it at EXP, you're not going to make it anywhere. That's the reality.
and look, I think there's several different factors that I have identified. One is the get rich quick scheme, right? Like you're after. Like if you came to EXP to get rich quick and it's not going to happen, this is not 2012. You're not Gene Frederick, right? So you're not going to get rich quick anymore. Not here, not
anywhere. And I love when other companies will say, well, you could be the next Brent Gove or Gene. There's no one at EXP that will be the next Brent Gove and Gene. That was that serendipitous moment where they took the biggest risk of their life and they deserve every penny that they get because there was no other companies like them. And yes, they got the bulk of it. Now other companies it's so sad to me that they're pitching that vision. I'm sorry, you have 5 other competitors. You're never going to have a windfall. So if somebody ever pitches you get in now or get in before the stock explodes, I'd be wary. I'd be wary. Yeah.
It is for sure. You know why? Because, hey, this is not the number. This is not a new idea. The new idea already exploded.
Right.
You're a copycat, and you will never in the history of all companies will be like, oh, okay, there was a copycat that beat the original, right? It never does.
Well, it's innovation. It's innovation over, evolvement. So I think these other companies, they're probably taking some of the things that we did and just doing a little enhancement. Like you and I, both know, we see something and in our brain we go, I can make that a little better. I can make that a little better. Yeah. But the little better is an enhancement and it's nothing that we don't have here. And if another company does something a little bit innovative and we go, oh, well, we could do that. We just tack it on because we're the Titanic, it's like you tack it on. Yeah. And so I think that though there's space for everyone, I'm not afraid of other companies. I actually think it's social proof. Right?
It's only proving the XP, right? The model to be proven.
Correct. Because when you think about the planet, we've got 6 million agents on the planet. If you think of a pie and you take a slice of the pie, that slice is cloud-based companies. We own 90% of that slice. Yeah. There's another 6 million agents that haven't been exposed to the cloud-based models. And we have room for everyone. So I actually enjoy the competition. Amazing
mindset. Now, lastly, looking forward, what trends, obviously where you are and you're living, breathing, it's in your DNA, the real estate and the market and the industry. What trends or shifts do you anticipate in real estate market? How should agents adapt right now to remain focused on specifically listing, because that's where we are, right? And continue building their path to freedom. What changes do you anticipate? What are you seeing with AI, with all the technology, everything that's happening? Your methodology is kind of like old school, new school mix. What are you seeing?
I still will always bet on an old school environment because I know that new school, old school agents still won't do anything. That's the problem. They're not going to do anything. So if they won't do anything, do the easier one first, which is very uncomplicated. Yeah. Learn your scripts. You are a salesperson first, a salesperson second, a salesperson third, and a realtor fourth. That is your job, to be a good salesperson. Not creepy, not gross, not your job is to be a professional decision maker upper. Get the client to a yes or a no. A maybe, there's a problem there. Yeah. Right? So become good at communication. Leverage yourself. Understand how to leverage, because what happens is we stay in all the jobs. We're the marketer, we're the admin, we're the agent, we're the ISA. Like, we're doing all the jobs, but you would never open up a Dairy Queen and do all the jobs. You would never open up a restaurant and do all the jobs. You'd hire people. Yeah. You're the owner. So agents stay so focused on being solo that they never understand leverage. So I would say leadership and leverage. Learn to lead, learn to understand how business operates, learn how to understand interpersonal relationships with people. Because when you are somebody that says, I don't want to lead people, I don't understand it, then you're never going to grow, right? So you have to grow in your leadership skills, your influence. How do you influence people to follow you, to lead them, to help give them something back? I think that's really the next generation. Is you're going to see teamrages versus brokerages. You're going to see teams that function as a brokerage, giving a much higher level of service. My agents are charged 50-50, 60-40, or 70-30 if they've been with me a long time on their sphere. But they are making $300,000-$400,000 a year, and they don't have to do anything but show up, work their clients, work the accounts that we give them, and then go off into La La Land and go on vacations and do their thing. So I think you're going to see that agents will pay if you can lead them, give them good foundational structure, and they're not going to need to go be solo all the time. So I am one for a teamrage, giving a lot of value, joining the call group platform that is powered by the EXP platform, let's say. So I see what my agents are making, and they're making more than any solo agent in our market right now, other than anomalies that sell 60, 70, 80 homes. That's not normal. So they're making more than the masses. And that to me gives me joy. Yeah, that's amazing. And then I say this all the time to my agents is that, 3 years from now, there'll be two types of agent. One that's working for Zillow, and another one that has built enough influence to have a team. Like, there will be no solo agents anymore. Right. You will either work for someone or you will be running a team. Well, and I think that when you think about even Zillow, like, that's a teamrage, right? They're gonna be another team model. But here's the beautiful thing. Because their model is so expensive, they're not going to be able to pay the splits that we can pay. Yeah. So we'll always be ahead of the value, the profitability of growing a company. Yeah. So sure, there's probably space for Zillow to be a Redfin. I mean, that space exists. So that's the model they'll go after versus them being able to give a 50-50. Think about it. Shark Tank. Have you ever seen anyone on Shark Tank that says, hey, I built this. I want to give you 50% of this? No, it's 10%. Yeah. 5%. 15% of my company. But we as team leaders go, here's half my business. And then agents will go, half, I want more. How much? 70, 80, 90? Here, just take it all. Why don't you own it? Take all the risk too, right? It's funny. Yeah. It's a silly mindset when you think about an agent coming in going, more than half. I want more than half. Half is fair. Half is fair. That is so funny that this conversation is just bringing back like a few months ago, there was this like big influencer and big business person who approached me and he wanted to be partnered at my coaching program, and it was like 50% and he had a certain dollar amount in mind, and I'm like, that's not what I had in mind. I had more like 10% in mind, but we went back and forth, and in the end, I offered him 25% for way more than what he offered. It was like 3 times more money to get 25%, and I'm still waiting to hear back from him. Like, he was disappeared from the face of the earth. But yeah, I get it. Like, this mindset of taking ownership of the business and really understanding what it takes to generate business. And
as a team leader, as a business owner, when you generate, you don't have to tolerate. You don't have to tolerate agents that don't want to pay you 50%.
Yeah,
You
and then
don't
they're
have to
not paying me. We're sharing in it. Like I
Yeah.
look at it and say, if you go work for Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola is going to say, hey, here are all the accounts that you're going to work, and you're going to work those accounts and get sales from landing the accounts. But if you go work for Pepsi, those accounts stay with Coca-Cola. You know, it's the same thing. You're coming and working our accounts,
Yeah.
our past clients, our spheres. You're working the relationships that took us years to build those strategic relationships that they would have never had access to. And because of that, that's the joy is that they get to partake in 50%.
leverage your relationships, leverage your connection and infrastructure. Amazing.
Correct. So we try to really show them the mindset that this is a commission. It's commission share. I always say the commission share, not like the charge or whatever. It's like, no, we're sharing in this half and half. You know, we're business partners, half and half. So I think that a lot of our agents get that, and the ones that don't end up leaving, and that's okay. You know, they as long as I've left them with a little bit different mindset and brought them.
They become successful on their own. That's what it's about, right?
I mean, and good for them, and they should, you know, if that's their path. So it doesn't offend us. I focus on the people that are there, the people that want to be there, and you know, and just go that way.
So now tell us, I guess, like before we end, what you guys are offering. I guess your pitch, right? What are you guys offering? What are you guys doing for helping agents be successful? I know you guys launched Access recently. What is it about? Tell us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have Access is our private EXP community, right? So we all have our little communities in there, and I tell people everyone's welcome, you know, whatever. But we do have like our, you know, I do one-on-one coaching for a very small handful of people, but I like to work with team leaders, and also we do a 7-week listing mastery launch. So we give that tough accountability and that attention and the role playing, the scripting. We help them practice. We listen to them on the phones. So it's very in depth. Like my coach brought me up. And so that's 7 weeks so they can get over their fear and then empower them to go take a listing. So that's what we're.
So is this a coaching program people buy into, or do they join?
No. Okay. It's a coaching program that I have created, and we're doing our first one right now. We're in week 3, and we have 20 people in the program, and it's fantastic. So,
All right. So there you guys have it. You guys can look Tina up. Like, she's searchable. Like, you literally, like, first thing shows up is her YouTube channel. Reach out to her with anything, any questions you guys might have, or anything you think that she could contribute to. Tina, stick around. And for those of you who are listening in, I'll see you guys on the next episode.